Hey friends, welcome back to the Destination Baby and Kids YouTube channel. This is Gina, your host with the most, here going over lightweight travel car seat options. So, very excited to go over the Cosco Scenera. I always want to say Seneca, but S-C-E-N-E-R-A, Scenera. So this version is the Cosco Scenera next. This is a seat that I get asked about a ton. So let's dive right in. Let's see what this bad boy is. The primary reason why people ask about this seat and why this is such a popular travel car seat, no question, it's the price. So I was able to procure this for $63 retail, delivered to my home. So when people say like, oh, they can just ride, they don't need a car seat, we can't afford it, I just really find that hard to believe. These are seats that are generally also given out at different Safe Kids events. If you go to a car seat check and your seat is like inappropriate, expired, or whatever, they generally, this brand, which is Cosco Safety First Maxi Cozy, does provide these frequently for those type of events to give to people if they need. So that's a really cool thing that they offer, but just in general, the cost on this is exceedingly affordable. So I absolutely love that. I get criticized frequently that I only focus on expensive products. You don't have to have an expensive product to have a safe product, and you don't need to feel like a bad parent if you can't afford million-dollar things. There's great things in every price point. So what I've discovered about this seat after thoroughly going over the instruction book and just comparing it to another seat, which was the Maxi Cozy Romy, which is $129, this seat is going to be the identical seat shell. So the actual shell of the seat and the things that those seats can do are identical. So let's get into that. The main thing you might notice is it has this really kind of attractive pattern. There are probably other ways to purchase this. I specifically singled this one out because I thought it would be easy for my users to identify the different seats as long as they're not all the same colors. Sometimes that's helpful, but definitely comes in a variety of patterns and colors. This one, again, is Scenera Next. So there might be other models that have slight differences. I seriously doubt that, but just in general, this seemed to be the newest one that I was able to find. It also comes with a cup holder. That's really awesome for the price. The Romy also comes with the same identical cup holder. That was my first clue that they were similar products. Now, interestingly, the Maxi Cozy, which has the pure cozy fabric with no flame retardants, that one comes with no plastic packaging. This one did come in plastic packaging, and it came in a box. So if you are a person that wants that higher level of plastic packaging, this might be a nice option for you. The other thing is the seat material is not particularly plush. The Romy Pure Cozy is going to be softer, not by like 1,000,000%, but it's definitely nicer. This is still perfectly serviceable though. Again, this is a seat that's probably going to get thrown up in and have accidents and get food on it, so I'm not super concerned with the look being attractive. Also might be one I'm just using on vacation. Lightweight, so we're clocking in at around 7 pounds. Again, interior width of the seat was around 11 inches. And what's really cool is that it specifically calls out in the book. I did measure, but I do think that the instruction manual for this seat is easier to read and understand than the Romy, which is really weird because they're identical car seats. They should have basically the same book, but they don't. This one says that the shoulder harness height tops out at 13.5 inches. So your butt to shoulder difference is going to be 13.5 inches. This seat holds 40 pounds in rear facing mode and 40 pounds in forward facing mode. So again, this will probably top off for most children at around 4 years of age. Now, again, the big benefit of a seat like this versus other travel car seats, so the one that I'm specifically focusing in on is the Pico Wavy. That's a great seat, but that is forward facing only. In California, which is where I live, the law is they have to be rear facing till 2. So if you come to California with your Pico and your 1-year-old and you're so excited to set it up and you get pulled over, you're gonna get a ticket. That kid should not be forward facing. Best practice indicates that we leave children in the rear-facing car seat in the rear-facing mode for as long as is allowable by the weight and height of the seat. So it's a nice feature about this seat that we would be able to do a rear-facing install up to 40 pounds. And again, forward facing up to 40 pounds. It's 40 inches for rear facing standing height, and then forward facing on both of those seats that I mentioned is going to be 43 inches. So again, 4 years old I think is a very reasonable age to sort of expect to be able to utilize something like this. Now, it has 3-position adjustment here for the leg buckle. You also have a harder time doing the tightening and loosening. On this style of seat, you absolutely have an option underneath here to rethread the shoulder harness to make it tighter around a smaller body. It does start at 5 pounds. I'm not really thrilled at the idea of using it with a newborn. I would probably just take an infant seat if that was an option for me. But the reason why is the level indication on here is not marked with a sticker or anything that's in another color that's easy to see. The thought of installing this at a parking garage where the lighting isn't great and that line is not called out makes me a little nervous for parents. The other thing to keep in mind is the style of latch that this comes with. I'm not going to open this blue bag, but I will show you the latches on the other style, on the Romy, are going to be the nice red push button latches, so easier to do. This guy has what is called hook and anchor style. This is on almost every top tether I've ever encountered in the US, but this style of hook and anchor is going to be your lower anchor attachment on this seat. Sometimes that can be harder, not necessarily to attach, but to detach. If you get it in extremely tight and then have a hard time loosening it, it can be more work to remove this style of seat versus one with, you know, a more intuitive latch. It's not the end of the world. I certainly understand why at this price point they don't include the fancier latch, but it is something to be aware of. If you thought, hey, you know, I love using my lower anchors, I really want the fancy lower anchors, then you would need to bump up to something like the Romy. Now, that being said, I'm going to do the same thing with this one that I did with that Maxi Cozy. When we do ultra lightweight, what are we cutting out? We're cutting out some of the additional safety features that you might get on a car seat. So what am I talking about? If we peel the fabric back and look at the skeleton of the seat, you'll see that there's no bike helmet style foam. So the typical types of car seat foam that we encounter are EPP foam and EPS shock foam. That is going to offer time that it takes for impact to transfer to the body. It's the same type of foam that they use in bicycle helmets. So this seat won't have any of that anywhere on the seat. And the reasoning is 1, the cost, and 2, the weight of the product. So they can leave it lighter weight and you'll be able to carry it around much more easily, but it is missing some of those pieces that you would see on car seats that are more expensive and that are heavier. So I do think that that's important to call out. Now, that being said, would I use a seat with more foam in forward-facing mode and feel just as good about using this in backward-facing mode? Certainly not. This in backward-facing mode is still 80% safer than a car seat that's going into forward-facing mode, even with a million safety bells and whistles. So the bigger benefit of this style of seat when on vacation is, again, that rear-facing positioning, which is really nice that the seat offers. I do also like that these seats come ready to install rear-facing with the latch belt in the rear-facing mode. Sometimes you'll get seats where they put them in forward-facing, and it's like, if I'm using this for a little kid, that can be very, or you know, a child under 2, let's say, can be very confusing for a parent because they don't understand that they need to reroute that belt to the correct belt path. So here we have a rear-facing belt path, and here we have a forward-facing belt path. It is marked with stickers. That's going to be true on most car seats. They're going to have separated paths for which direction you're installing them. So all in all, for $60, not a terrible option. Again, if you are fussier, you want that green story, you don't want any plastic, you want the no flame retardant, but you want essentially the same car seat, still lightweight and easy to use, you would bump up to a Romy. If you're looking for your best value for dollar, really trying to keep that budget in line, this is certainly an acceptable option. Keep in mind, lower weight for rear and forward facing compared to some other seats, 40-40, but still an awesome and acceptable choice to be able to use daily or to take on vacation. So, if you have comments, please feel free to leave them below. Please feel free to hit like and subscribe. Overall width of this guy is 17, just like Romy's. So again, if you've got 3 across for your vacation, you're going to be fine. But certainly something to consider as we move toward the holidays and maybe are going lots of places. Again, thank you so much for watching. Check out my other comparison videos with this versus the Romy and the Graco Contender all next to each other. And please feel free to hit like and subscribe and suggest the channel to anybody else that might be interested in the information. All right, we'll see you at our next video.